Hey, what up, party people? This is the day that the Lord hath made. It's kind of late. I'm probably up later than I should be, so pardon the low voice and the low lights in here. But there's a controversy sweeping the internet that I just feel called to speak to. There's a debate last night between Bill Nye, the science guy, a big proponent of evolution, and a guy named Ken Ham, who's a big proponent of creationism. So to be honest, I've only seen a few highlights from the debate. I've only read a little bit about it, so I might be missing a few things, but it seems that they basically treat this whole issue from two very basic camps. And one is the evolution camp. Basically, they hold that there's no God, that all life was brought forth by the process of evolution, which is incremental and slow, minute changes over millions and millions of years, generation to generation, which has all led to the diversity of life that we know today, and also accounts for the fossil records that we have buried in the earth. The second camp is the creationist camp. Basically, this camp contends that all life was called into existence by God according to the scriptures, particularly the account in Genesis in the Bible. Well, to me, there's no debate. There's actually an option 3 that transcends both of these options and actually hasn't been talked about a whole lot, so that's why I want to raise it. So let me lay it out for you. I'm a man of faith. I believe in a God who's all-powerful and who created everything out of nothing. We live in a causal universe, so that means that every cause creates an effect, and also that every effect has a cause. So things like the Big Bang sit really well with me. The Big Bang, in some sense, is a cause. I mean, it caused the rest of creation to happen. At the same time, it's also an effect. I mean, how could the Big Bang come about by anything other than a cause? And that cause must have been God. And the Big Bang is actually well described by Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created. So it's well supported biblically, and there's really no reason that any person of faith should be threatened by something like the Big Bang. I'm a man of faith. I'm also a man of science. Kind of. Technically, I'm an engineer, but let's not get into that debate right now. So, I'm not afraid of evolution. God can create life by whatever method or means that God deems appropriate to create life. And if the science community determines that that cause of life was evolution, so be it. That's fine with me. That doesn't affect my faith at all. God is above all. In essence, science is only a process which can tell us more about the creation that God made, and can lead us to God. That's all that science can do. Since God is real, science can't tear down God, and we shouldn't be afraid of any scientific discovery if it's truth. Actually, more and more science is finding the fingerprint of God in everything. So take DNA, for instance. Scientists are finding that DNA operates a lot like machine code. What's machine code? Well, it's basically the language that computers use to communicate. So it's the ones and the zeros, the bits and bytes that make communication possible, make it possible for me to create this video and put it on YouTube, and then put it on my blog. So you wouldn't look at the latest whatever from Apple and say, oh, this thing came about by accident. You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't even look at it and say, oh, this thing operates by voodoo magic, or I need to have faith in this whatever for it to work. You'd never say that. You might say that, but you'd be silly. The whatever electronic device had a designer. Somebody designed it. Somebody designed the code that makes the device operate. Similarly, if you look at DNA, the way it operates, the way that it's read and copied in the cell, the way that it contains the instructions for life, for metabolic processes, for cell replication. It's hard to look at that and say, that come to any other conclusion than that it had a designer. And that designer had to have been God. There's no other way. So one thing that's really cool about the United Methodist tradition is we have this little book. It's called The Social Principles, and we look a lot at this at my office where I work. This is what we're all about. So basically, in this book, it's the effort of the church to come up with a prayerful and thoughtful ways to speak to the human issues in the contemporary world from a sound biblical and theological foundation. So more or less it's our effort as a church to address really tough and controversial issues, such as evolution. So one bit that I came across earlier today is this one. So here's a quote from the Social Principles. We, the United Methodist Church, find that science's description of cosmological, geological, and biological evolution are not in conflict with theology. So that's in paragraph 160.f. So to me, it's describing that there's really no controversy, and I think it's really cool that the church has come to that conclusion. And when I read this, I just think my thoughts exactly. So I hope this little video blog was helpful. I hope it was edifying to both your theological and scientific mind. And I'd love to hear your questions and your comments. So please send them. Take care. God bless. Peace.